button on your microphone. All right.
They sent an email requesting not, this is GPI, Greg Lampert, it's property on they have contacted us yesterday to say that they have not completed the system design process with the fire department. So they would like to be continued to our July 18th meeting.
Yes.
Yep.
We don't have a meeting.
No meeting that time. None.
So you would need to do a motion.
I'll make a motion, we do continue until July 18th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 We hope.
And then we have a preliminary design review for MTI Collins at 50 Clinton Road. We do have notes in your packet on for the first design review preliminary hearing is building expansion for property in commercial industrial zone for a proposed 15,000 square foot addition to the building. The reference is the shingles.
This site for a very long time had a side, I almost call it a side, had a side activity that involved recycling shingles, asphalt shingles. However, what really occurred was the storage of a lot of shingles, the processing of like 0 shingles. So it was a really bad circumstance for a really long time. During this process, the owners told me I should go out and look right on
The shingles are all gone?
the shingles are all gone. Isn't that lovely?
It's been about,
I mean, Bruce and I are old, so when we say decade, it's really talking about.
To go out just to
It was really lovely, lovely. A much different site.
Do you have a digital copy? Somebody.
Do we have an electronic copy?
Did you, I thought that was the case as well.
Oh, yes.
May I watch it? It should. It is very informal. So
You can actually.
you can come as close as you like if you feel safe.
Yeah, it seems like it's been 100 years. From my perspective, the first like 6 months went by pretty fast, but the last couple really been dragging. This week has been 6 months long. Yeah.
The rain died down a little bit.
Yes.
It was really coming down.
Yeah, July 10th is
But then-
due date, but
Yeah.
I've convinced myself he's coming
Even-
early.
I was gonna say that's still
Down
pretty
in
wild.
Mountain A,
Yeah,
see the
still like
shingle.
a good 3 weeks.
Really? Yeah.
That's like,
But
it's just
I
kind of
had like
strange.
false
Yeah.
labor
It's
over
coming
the
down buckets, I
weekend,
mean, it would.
Yeah.
which that sometimes means he's coming soon, could
Yeah.
mean he's still
My
coming
garden
in
said
2
thank
weeks.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
we were
that's
talking about it earlier.
sort of
that
resulted
you really
in
do
me
need it.
working from
You have a
home
garden?
from now on
Yeah.
because I don't want to go all the way to the office
And I'm hoping that
labor there.
maybe it'll help break the
Bedford's a
humidity
little
a
far
little bit.
from
but
Exeter.
see.
Have to like
Well,
bum
things are
around.
getting,
Yeah.
The only
remember what's
coworker I have
supposed to be
that lives
tomorrow.
in
I keep
Exeter is
looking at the
like
weather report,
super
but
senior
it's
principal.
almost a waste of time because
Yeah.
20 minutes later it's changed.
Exactly. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably would.
A while ago it was supposed to rain all weekend.
Yeah.
I don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Kind of would. I'll be going really but I love it.
It's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a huge way.
Yeah, my parents are on standby to take me down to figure out we have plans for them to come to us first and then we go, or if we go and then go with us to see Philly or I'm sure it'll happen. Yeah.
The town has
And
not
it's
updated
scary.
for 40 plus years.
You
Not
were
really.
a dumpster head.
Not.
Yeah.
No, it will work in time, in time.
It's just, this is.
Guys, we're still broadcasting.
Oh, no, no, no. I watch them all the time. The last planning board meeting home, I wrote 40 people.
Really?
Yes, by the time I left here, got home, maybe 10 p.m. When it started.
How many people were watching during the meeting?
Oh, good question.
There's a lot of people who like to watch paint dry.
No, it connects the community. I want to be part of the selectmen's meetings, I want to watch them, but attending them, I'd rather be in my shop.
There's a
too.
lot going on.
Right, right. The only bummer is you gotta have, push.
Has it gotten better with these?
But I do
I think I'm in. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Send it, forward it to Heather. Okay.
One that refuses to skip any. All right. So,
Yes, Mike?
Yeah, we're here.
all right.
At least I'm here. How's
There
that?
we go.
Look at that.
Okay, so if you want to give us some background and set this up, and then we can share his screen.
So my name's Todd Valentine. We're Roland from MTI, general manager. Rep for the project is an addition, approximately 15,000 square feet. Site that they at the other end of the building
It's remarkable.
6,500 tons?
It was extensive.
It
Yeah.
was.
It was a bone of contention.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it was
All
determined that
in
they
with
were,
all of $55 product.
So
they're
can you
working
tell
their
us
own.
a little bit about what the business does and how many people work there?
Sure,
and
absolutely.
activities?
Yeah, thanks, this is fascinating, more than. So I got there 18 years ago. The guys that started the company, they started the old spring plant across the street. They made self-adhere waterproofing membrane for building and construction. So the stuff your roofer would put on your house roof deck before the shingles got there. So the MTI company was started initially with multi-technology. And it was a small 1 meter wide silicone coater. So they would buy in plastic film, they put silicone on it, polycoated paper, put silicone on it, and that became the release and barrier for self-adhere underlayment. And then a couple years later, they bought a small extrusion line, Polyax company, to take plastic pellets and blow the film, make the film to silicone coat at the second line. So they sold, the partners sold NEI, Northern Alaska Nail, for $125,000 years ago. And then in May 16th of 2016, they sold MTI Polyax to Intercast Corporation, which is a $4 billion North American, primarily plastic extruder. So they make BOPP, the stuff you put on a pack of gum, goes in a Frito-Lay bag, they make a lot of the t-shirt bags you buy on the run, or stuff you put in. They're huge. We're tiny. We're like 0.7% of the revenue. When I started 18 years ago, we had $5 million in sales, and we just shipped across the street. This year, we'll probably do about 32 million, 60 employees, we have 50 customers, several patents. So we're still that one extrusion line to make our plastic film. You have to buy in. Right now, we're buying about 700,000 pounds a month of our sister divisions, the silicone coating or specialty films. You've probably all seen Flex Tape on TV. That cuts a hole in the boat and puts the film on it.
Does that really work?
It really works. We developed the film, and we make it in clear, black, white, and gray. If you buy a roll of that at the hardware store for $20, it's about 80 cents for a slice. So Mr. Flex Tape did really, really well. We make specialty films, and we make a lot of silicone coated films that become the release barrier and the release for building and construction. We're also getting into more specialty tapes. If you go to the hardware store and you buy it, come winter, you buy a foam tape with a blue liner on it around your windows, that kind of stuff. We make a lot of that. First expansion we took last year was the 15,000 square feet up front. It's got a 2 meter wide silicone coater that can go 2,000 feet a minute. Still have capacity on that. But the 2005 extrusion line is old and outdated. We just got approved for $1.5 million yesterday for that line. The new expansion in the back will have the same height towers and it will accommodate 3 more extrusion lines plus storage. So we'll be able to make more of our own film instead of buying it from our sister division. And silicone coated and increase the capacity of the line and the profitability.
I apologize for interrupt. I just got a text from Doug Finnan asking folks to speak up. I think
Well,
he's
well.
watching. Yeah.
What it is.
Uh-huh.
There is a table. It's just now with me.
You don't have to get that.
Okay, well, that kind of wrapped up my summary. Unless anybody has any questions, then you're all welcome to come visit. We love to show the place off. So. I was not involved with the recycled asphalt shingle business at all. I was the sales guy for MTI Polyex until 2019 when I took over as a general manager. I was instrumental in getting the piles gone and the sheds taken away that were bolted onto the back. We're really happy for all the support that Brentwood has shown us since the acquisition of the company. So thank you all.
It seems to be going in the right direction. I mean, we were just frustrated with those shingles because it seemed to be, the shingles were not a part of the product that they were making, but it was a revenue source.
Right, because they were charging people
yeah,
to dump them there.
disguised,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's gone, it's gone.
But actually, to give the guy a little bit of credit, when he started the company, and he did sell a lot of product, when Virgin Asphalt sold for upwards of $1,000 a ton, then people were happy to buy his powder, so they wouldn't have, because that was only like $400 a ton. But once Virgin Asphalt dropped in price below 600, he didn't have a business anymore. So, but he kept collecting,
That was.
kept getting paid to drop shingles, yeah.
He had half a business.
Right.
So I only recall two issues, you know, with what's gone on there in terms of expansion over the last decade or more. You know, one was the fire department had many issues there. So obviously in this new configuration, the equipment you're putting in, the fire department will be contacted, or you'll have a fire engineer.
So the building will be.
Mhm. Right, we encourage you to hire an engineer to prepare the plans for the fire suppression, and then they're reviewed by the towns. But it's always better if you guys come up with a plan of what you want to do, you know, based on a credential fire suppression. Right. That's good. We want to see this happen, just trying to
So
make sure.
unless there are any other general questions about the business, you want to switch to the
Let's go questions, but thank you there.
No, it's him.
He's going across the kitchen in a chair.
Is it my turn to go on? Only because I was hearing bits and pieces of everybody else talking, so sorry about that. But anyway, we're on. So just to introduce myself, I'm Mike Gagnon. I am a principal civil engineer, licensed in the state of New Hampshire. We were retained by RAS MTI to prepare a site plan associated with the building expansion, and I'll go through those details in a moment. You know, with that, with the preparation of the site plans, we've gone through quite a bit of due diligence activities, starting with we did essentially a resurvey of the portions of the site that have substantially changed, so that, you know, we could develop a good engineered plan, particularly around the new building expansion. A geotechnical engineer has been doing subsurface investigations. We are utilizing that information as well in our design, specifically with respect to stormwater management, which I'll get into in a moment. So what I'd like to do is share. And can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk through the plans, the way they stand right now. These are essentially the preliminary site plan package, that we put together, for MTI. You know, starting off with our cover sheet, you know, just some general information here. But I'm just gonna jump into the index plan because I think this just gives a good context overview of the site. Um, so Pine Road, is over here on the left-hand side of the page, and I'm sure everybody is somewhat familiar, with the site. This is the existing site access drive. Pretty steep grade going down into the main parking area, which is located here. This is the outline of the current facility, this L-shaped polygon here. The existing building is approximately about 40,000 square feet. The addition itself is going to be approximately 15,000 square feet. So, you know, given that that's greater than 7% of the original building size, you know, we realize, you know, we have to file for site plan review. The site parcel itself is just a hair over 15 acres in total. You know, site topography, it does drop down to this area here, and generally the whole site drains to the northwest, to the north. The existing fire pond is located here. And there's a rather significant wetland area that's in the back of the property here. You know, we are not touching any of this. Our work is really going to be localized right here in the rear of the building. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to, so what we did is we superimposed the site plans on ortho photos so that it gives everybody a good context of what's out there. And by the way, these ortho photos, you know, we've got a license with Nearmap. So these are actually April of 2024. So this is a real recent representation, you know, of the site. Whoops, jumping ahead here. And again, what we're looking at here is Pine Road, is in this area here. Here's the site driveway. The main parking area is located down in here. About 25 delineated or painted parking spaces exist today. And there's 2 accessible parking spaces located here. Generally, site circulation, at least the way we understand it, is vehicles entered. Obviously, this is the main ingress and exit from the site. But essentially, anybody that's coming in here as an employee, you know, they just merely come in and park in this parking lot here. Truck traffic actually can circulate through the site. And I'm just going to jump to the other page. So this is the other area of the site in the back. So this is the match line to the previous sheet. So essentially vehicles come around, they circulate around the back, and then they move out and then make their way out through the front of the site. If I'm correct, there's 4 existing overhead doors for loading. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's an area here. There's another little loading facility back in here. I believe there's another one in the side here. And then the last one is there's an overhead door located here. Under the proposed plan, nothing in terms of, you know, loading points on the building are essentially going to remain the same. So in other words, the new addition, which is represented by this gray polygon here, or this filled in area, this is about 15,000 square feet, as I had mentioned. And really, you know, there's no vehicle loading proposed here. These are going to be strictly emergency exits out of the building. And what we intend to do as part of site improvements back here, as you can see, we've drawn in a new access drive in this area here, which is basically going to consist of a dense graded gravel material. So in other words, it won't be paved. Very similar to the cover material that's out in the back right now. And it will essentially match the existing driveway up in this location here, as well as back in here. Let me just jump back because that's actually the sedimentation. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be a 24-foot wide dedicated access. And we've looked at this as we would on any site for not only for the anticipated trucks that are going to serve the facility, but as well as fire apparatus. And we made that circulation through the site, and they can easily maintain their way around the back here. So as I stated, proposed building addition, in terms of stormwater management improvements, we're showing a basin back in here, and that's predominantly going to provide peak flow reduction as well as water quality enhancement in accordance with the New Hampshire DES stormwater requirements. One of the things that obviously we have to be sensitive to is, and again, this is where we use the geotechnical information, is groundwater is about 6 to 7 feet deep. So this basin is only going to be about 3 feet deep, so that we get the necessary separation from the bottom of the basin to seasonal high groundwater. As I had mentioned earlier, this was the area of the former shingle pile. And as you can see, because this is an April ortho photo, basically this is all cleaned out. So, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. In terms of the parking at 25 spaces is going to remain. Oh, utilities, any utilities that are required for the new building expansion will be connected within the facility. So in other words, there's not going to, as far as with the exception of electrical, potentially, and those details need to be worked out. But for example, we're not going to have to run any new service connections, for example, all the way out to Pine Street. So everything is, really going to be self-sustaining for the facility in terms of utilities. All of the, the existing connections will be maintained. In terms of number of employees, and I know the question comes up about parking. I understand that, at the maximum, there's going to be 3 additional employees per shift. So not a dramatic or virtually no impact on parking of the facility. In the plan set, and I'll just go through really quickly, and these were submitted to you as well, existing conditions plan. And these drawings, or the base drawing, was all updated from our surveyor, Sherman and Frederick. They actually surveyed the site back in March of this year. And this is this is very similar, obviously without the ortho photo, but this shows, the gist of the site improvements that are happening in the back. Here's the front of the site. Again, no site improvements are proposed out here. And then we get into, we provide, pretty comprehensive sedimentation and erosion control requirements, everything from, the location of sediment barriers around the perimeter of the work area to a construction entrance pad. Our typical notes in terms of things that need to be monitored during construction to minimize any transport of sediment to offsite areas. Our typical site details are just a bunch of notes here. Not really gonna, and then our site details. So, that's pretty much in a nutshell, and certainly be happy to answer any questions that you may have at this point.
Is that addition the same
Yeah, I just had a question for Glenn. If you had any concerns about the proximity to the wetlands or any other environmental impacts. No.
The only wetland that exists out there was at once upon a time constructed by man. It's not a, isn't a natural wetland. It serves as stormwater retention.
And one other question I had, because I know you said that parking won't be impacted. Will, in terms of the layout of this proposed expansion, will the accessible parking spaces still be in relatively close proximity, just in case there are employees that are utilizing this expanded part of the facility?
Absolutely. So those spaces are not slated to change at all with this project. They'll remain right where they are, which is, in proximity to the front entrance to the building.
Terrific, thank you.
There are standards to parking and to square footage of building to parking spaces. How many employees do you have right now?
Well, actually, right now, we've probably got about 56, but we expect to go up by a dozen.
You have
We're at
56
24/7.
employees right now?
We have about 56.
I just don't see how 25 parking spaces.
Because they work in 3 shifts,
Oh, they work in 3 shifts.
Oh,
4 shifts.
Oh, 4 shifts.
Oh, that explains it.
yeah. That,
Are you going to use the same fire pond out back? Same as you always have? Okay.
But to expand upon my question, is that parking adequate for that square footage of building? It is 25? Interesting.
Because of the actual low volume.
Fair enough. The amount of parking that was required on another site. I understand the scale of
The
the
scale is
building.
so different.
Right.
Remember that was
I would
750
agree with
feet long.
100%.
Hmm.
But it just seemed that 25 does seem to be low, especially with the expansion. Would it be difficult to add parking spaces? I think there's adequate frontage.
They have all sorts of.
Yeah, why don't we designate some of that parking?
When they come in formally, I will show you
Okay.
that's always part of it.
Right, when you designate it on the plan, it's reserved for parking and can't be used for anything else.
Correct.
Right, thank you.
Is there any issue with where the shingles were and any residue that was left behind?
Actually, forward.
A quick question about that. When those piles were an issue and they were discussed, we had them tested as well. They came up with that they were inert. It was not harmful to the environment. So my question is, what exactly did your testing come up with?
What we found for contamination
Fair enough.
I don't know much about the process that you have and the extrusion lines that you're adding. Is there wastewater that's generated from that?
the only water we use is recirculated, it's chill water to cool the process down. We melt the plastic and then it gets cooled as it becomes a film. There's no, we don't use any water.
Closed loop.
Closed loop, yeah.
Would you be willing, you don't have to answer this, but, to consider, and you said there were no improvements planned in the front, but to do anything along the road? I know it's not necessarily required, but just for aesthetics?
I don't think you can because of the grade. I think there's
You don't really.
stone or concrete blocks lined up, right?
That's on the other side of the street.
That's on the other side.
Yeah.
But-
We have an old chain link fence here to keep
Oh.
people from falling off.
But the topo lines kind of talk about the issue. When you look at that, it's just nothing that you guys did,
Ask.
and you agreed.
I don't think there's much there between the right of way of Brentwood and the slope. I don't think they own much, you know what I mean? Outside of that road.
I think it's a great business for the town, and the town's always been advocated on behalf of the company to see expansion go on there. Just a minor question, Glenn, I know that on one of the last expansions, the tower was increased in height. You had to go to the ZBA for variance for the height.
That would have been
Scat.
2000, that was 20 years ago, 2000.
Okay, so this new addition's not any
Same-
higher.
That will not be higher.
Is that higher than 40?
Yeah.
Any other
It
questions?
is. But you don't notice it because it's so far down in the grade.
Exactly.
Yeah, so not to sound like a broken record, but I just kind of want to put out there. I think my only really two concerns are just any potential environmental impact. But I'm reassured by what Glenn said, but still just would like a little more information there. Partially just because of my ignorance of what your company does, and that's on me. But it's a concern of mine, and also. So you have 56 employees right now, correct? And with this expansion, you'd be bringing in more?
Yeah, we're probably, it's probably at least 2 years before we actually have a new piece of equipment to put in that tower, but it will require 12 people. We've already brought on 6 of those people in order to train them on our older line. So we have 5 lines here, 2 coders, 2 slitter rewinders, and an extrusion line. So
Yeah.
we've been trying to hire people to make any money for us, an operator has to be around at least a year. They make so many mistakes when they're learning that, and if you're familiar with the hiring environment, it's been difficult.
Yeah.
There's a lot of churn. So we've been bringing people on board to train them, and hopefully by the time we get the new line up and running, we'll have, 3 people for the new 4 shifts on that.
So the reason I ask is I am a little concerned about, if we're getting to the point where we're now north of like 60 employees and we still only have 2 handicapped accessible parking spots. Maybe that concern isn't warranted, but it just strikes me as insufficient. But I also don't know.
State standards.
Yeah, right. So it's just something that I'd want to get a little bit more clarity on. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And maybe it would help just for context if you have the number of employees, the shifts, how many people are there.
Your power requirements will change, electrical power.
I think we have all the power we need on site. That's already been determined. This expansion has to be designed to accommodate extrusion line. Everything's been looked at. The chill water, the power.
In the event of loss of power, you have some supplemental.
Too costly. Every time we get a power flip and the line goes down, it costs us.
But it costs you way too much money to generate the power. Yeah, okay.
When I say a flicker, I mean a flicker. It shuts down the extrusion line. So even if you lost power in half a second, you got power back, it's too late. The line's already down.
What's the time frame on your progress toward, like the site plan review? I mean, over the next 3 or 4 months? Oh, sure. I think the town fully supports that. It just may be good sometime in that process, maybe early on, we have these little site walks where members can come over,
Yeah.
where so many people are new, to be able to just walk around and put their eyes on the property.
Is it air conditioned?
I'd like to
Some
see,
of it is.
I'd like to see a full
Some
plan
of it
set.
isn't.
Yeah, so maybe it's
Before
a
the-
little
I would like to have
premature, but as soon as you file for
In my-
application,
in my hand,
then, yeah, then we can.
a full plan set, schedule. set.
Before we,
Yes, because I want to know exactly what we're looking at.
yeah. And actually, the Economic Development Committee might want to join, if that's okay. I mean, it's open to the public anyways, but we might mention it to them because sometimes we're trying to learn about the different businesses that are in town and
I think
get
that
them involved in things.
it'd be helpful for them to learn, see how our businesses run, how industrial processes work. I think that'd be helpful.
More power to you.
Anything else?
No, they have been a pleasure.
Once the shingles up.
It was,
That just was a big headache for
it was
many of
one
us.
of the happiest
Right.
mornings of my year this year.
It
when They
is.
said that. When they suggested I should go out and see that they're not there.
Good.
You didn't lie to your face?
Then it was just a
Did you
pleasure.
get? Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Looking forward to next steps.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yours.
Very much.
You can. You can. Unless you want to keep seeing ourselves and ourselves and ourselves.
You as
Yep.
well.
One thing that I'd like to do going forward, Glenn, is when we get an application, that, like, if you get it on Wednesday, that we have, like, a week to look at stuff. So if you have it on a Wednesday and there's a meeting the next day, that we wait and schedule them until the following meeting, so that everything can go out, so that we're not looking at it as they are.
Aren't there guidelines on the application for like,
You don't have it.
if
And
you,
on this one, with Jillian leaving.
Well, this one I'm not, I mean, this is preliminary.
And this
it's
was
fine.
preliminary.
But when it gets.
We had to, we actually realized that we had what we needed for the zoning review. We had listed that they thought they were.
Oops.
We did use it. Incredibly gracious about it.
Yeah. And we have, Microsoft Office. Do you have access to it?
he does. But also he does. He has a town email.
Can we have a shared Excel file with all the things that we're looking at?
Of course. Love me a shared file in the OneDrive. Yeah.
Yeah, could we take it another step further and share folder where we?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Do we have enough storage on Microsoft Office?
We'll make sure we have enough.
So, as we go forward,
But-
that's,
Who is the we that will be doing that?
well, I think the we will start as a we. And then, so actually,
It will become our administrative assistant.
Yes.
Assuming.
Yep.
so in your packet, I have near the back, description. With some of these things in here, like maintaining shared files, I tried to keep it, so the required qualifications are the same as what Karen had written, but I tried to add some other things that, you know, if somebody has, they're studying planning, they're interested in housing, like, these are the kinds of things that would be nice to have, because I'd like to try to send it to different departments at UNH and other places and try to get some, a little bit of
Yes.
things that we're not getting applicants.
You're not getting them or you're not seeking them?
I don't believe we've received any. We've
You
received
can
maybe one or
deny.
two.
Hmm.
We want them.
Oh. Yeah.
So just two quick things. One is about this, and then one I just want to let folks know. I got a text from Doug Finn, and he supports the idea of a site walk for Pine Road. So yeah. Just
I didn't know.
want-
I didn't know. Is he watching?
Oh, he must be. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Doug. So in terms of the application, and I know that I spoke to you briefly about this previously, but I can go ahead and, with your permission, of course, send the link to the heads over at the Carsey School where I'm getting my master's, because there are a lot of public administration students who have a bachelor's who might be interested in this, and I can also circulate it to my contacts in the undergrad, part of the school, because there, I'm sure some students there that are interested in planning. So I don't know how much that'll help, but you never know. You never know.
So what I have, maybe, Letty, maybe you can help us with this. What I didn't know is, can we replace what's on the website now, or is there some process that we need to go through to get this approved?
No, you can replace it. Mhm. Yes. Whenever.
And then once that's up, then we can share the link.
Sure.
So you're talking, you mean this exact document?
Yes.
I can do that right now. Have a digital copy. Or if you tell me where you want it.
Okay. And if anybody,
The only thing, and I had mentioned this to you,
you asked about hours.
you did ask about hours.
So I asked.
When would you like the planning office to be open?
So I asked Jillian today, the way it's been working is, basically flex time. So if she goes over 1 week because there are extra meetings at night, then she offsets that. I think we've officially said the planning office is closed on Fridays.
Okay.
I
I don't have a sense for how, well, I have kind of a sense for how often people come in, but I don't know if that's because I'm not usually here on Fridays that I don't see the people trying to come in.
I mean, usually, like, if anybody has any meaty questions, we tell them, come in on Wednesdays, because that's when Glenn's here, and they can sit down. As far as, like, people dropping in, asking questions, calling, I don't know, has Jillian ever mentioned that that's been an issue?
I think
Oh, it happens.
On Friday?
It happens. Oh, not on
happens.
Friday, but it
Oh,
happens
it
other
happens.
days.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's not here on Fridays, has that been an issue?
She's not here.
I think so many of the engineers are local people that they've come to understand over the years that Friday is a non-work day. Now, what's the deal with you also get another day off during the week, you don't have to come in to go to work?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm
Can you
sorry.
tell
I
me
should
more
have.
about
You
what
can
that
see
means?
there's some bias there. So what's the deal with people being able to have a day where they work from home?
I don't know anything about that.
But that's gone on for a couple of years anyway, right?
That's my career, professionally, I do that, and I do get paid.
Oh, no, I'm just being smart about it. So what I'm trying to-
So you say.
It's my understanding that has happened, but only within the last year.
I thought it started with
Probably
COVID.
since COVID.
I thought it started since COVID.
I would imagine that there are probably some tasks for some departments that could be done remotely, and there are some for some departments that cannot. So without knowing anything more than that, I would imagine that varies. I also don't know anything about it specifically.
I don't believe Jillian did.
Well, she didn't work Friday, well, she didn't work Friday.
Yeah, so the idea with that is that if we're asking people to be here, so this job was zoning and planning. It had been economic development, but it was just people. So, and then we have a work session, and then we have
So, did you check with the town office at all to see if they want to take on the other day, or like the other 10 hours or whatever it was? Because I know that KIP needs.
I think that is included. Yeah, building department.
Well, it just might be a perk to let the person have Fridays off. So my point in that was, on the other 4 days, people should assume that they can come and do business here on the other 4 days without flex time being off if you have every Friday off. So you basically have a.
Oh, I was thinking that we should be open every day. You're thinking of it the other way than I am.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that most of the engineers have
Yeah.
just come to understand that this is how Brentwood operates.
I think the issue with that is then you're running into COVID.
Yes.
I mean, there were
Because
times-
you're asking for people to work more
Mhm.
than 40
Right.
hours a week.
I was
Yeah.
always under the impression that Friday, the hours were made up with meetings like this and
Right,
doing
exactly.
sidewalks and
Yeah.
Well, and
there were,
ZBA meetings. and-
ZB,
Yeah.
there were other things that you did in the evenings that more
So
than,
yeah, and that's why I don't think of it as time
Yeah.
off, but
right, right.
it's flex time.
Well, but at
and-
some point, if the flex time is so much that they're not really available for most of those 4 days in a week, then that becomes a problem.
Right, it would have to stay, yeah, I have not heard that has been an issue.
No, it seemed to run very smoothly with her having the Fridays off, and that's a perk for a lot of people. To get their hours in during the 4 days of the week, and
But I can communicate better, because like I didn't realize sometimes you're asking Glenn to do when we were having extra meetings and things.
We make an
You
agreement.
think the
and
office
stick
should be
with
open on Friday?
I think all of the offices in this building should be open at least 5 days a week, or 4 weekdays and partial.
I would
see,
agree
we
with
aren't
that. I
really
would agree
serving
with
the
that
public
statement.
though here. It's more engineers and people associated.
So
with
again,
them.
I don't know how often you are in this building on a day that they're open. There are absolutely members of the public that come in randomly and ask questions every day.
The public servant, open to the public.
Right.
It should be available for the public's use.
It's not primarily what they, but like, I can't tell you the number of times people have just wandered in and asked about the driveway or something.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, as far as the planning board activities.
Right,
mean-
but this position is not just for the planning board, it's the planning office.
Right. Maybe the requirements that are stated in here, I'm glad we're having this discussion. And I don't know how she would help, this new applicant would help KIP in doing what exactly for KIP. If we are gonna share our time with another department, we are not completely in control of that because the select board
Right.
do that. I would just wanna know how
Technically,
that
yes.
relationship will work.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think, and I believe Jillian was helping this process in economic development, so she still wants to do it, but with the business directory, like keeping track of businesses that are in town.
Oh, with that part.
But,
That
but
would-
her interaction, Kip, I'm not cutting you off, is really very day to day. When he goes out on a code enforcement call,
Mm-hmm.
he needs to see the recorded plan that we keep in the planning board.
Okay,
So Jillian has to make that available for him,
Mm-hmm.
look over the files to see if there's any notice of decision or conditions that have to, that are relevant for him to know about.
What's the story?
And
Yeah.
so, and she also was doing some clerical work. Because the two offices have a lot of interaction. The building department and the planning department have a lot of
There's a lot
interaction.
overall.
How many days a week is the?
Thank you.
Is Kip in the office? What does he have for office
He's-
hours?
Were you overstepping?
What do you mean, are we overstepping?
My feeling is that it needs to be predictable,
Right.
published, and there needs to be, a way to reach somebody feel like it's, even if somebody does stop in and have a question, it's not usually a urgent, I need to know right now kind of question.
They rarely on any at any
Right.
time.
And,
So-
and it's not, it's, I would say, it's probably more unusual that a planning board office in a town the size of Brentwood is open every day of the week. The planning board office in Kingston, a town twice the size of Brentwood, isn't open every day of the week.
Fair enough.
So what I wouldn't want to see happen is, you know, the person's like, okay, I have to work 40 hours. I'll just kind of be here when I, you know, I'll work 10 this
Oh,
day
yeah,
and
no.
6 that day. And, you know, that's why, you know, they have a set schedule where they start at a certain time every day. And they have a couple meetings.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If the meetings are predictable, then where are those hours coming from on the other 4 days?
Well, I meant I think it's a wonderful idea that this position be a shared position where this person can be involved maybe with the ZBA, right?
Yeah,
They are.
they are.
Right.
This position is always administrative support to both the planning board and the zoning board.
Yes,
I-
and help
yeah.
get the
And
ZBA.
it got expanded to helping KIP and helping the economic development.
Woof. Mhm.
And I think part of that was because things quieted down.
Maybe.
Because when Jillian first started, it was quite busy. And
Maybe it doesn't need to be a full-time position.
So if you want all these
Maybe we
things
can
done.
hire someone part-time.
Well, I don't know if it well, and this is really what it is that maybe it doesn't need to be a full-time position for planning and zoning, but are there things that she could do in other, or the person could do in other places of this office for the other however many hours?
I think, and this is part of the reason why I want to rewrite this description, is for this person to be writing grants for us. I mean, we can find
big
productive things for this person to do that I think would
Right.
pay
But at that point,
us.
could they also write grants for the town? Right? Like, can you share? I don't know who thought that.
Well, I think she wasn't busy with the planning board activities, but there were enough other things here in the office, in the general office with Karen's work and whatnot. that
I
She was
don't-
kind of drafted to.
I don't know if she did a lot. I don't know.
I think I need to have a better handle on that and have that person
Has anybody discussed this with Jillian?
a little bit.
And she's the one who would really know whether she's working too much here, too much there. We miss things. I mean, we don't know what she's doing all the time.
Yeah.
But she's still
Well-
productive.
Right. So I think having this person report out, because the other thing is we've talked about things happen at zoning, we don't hear about them, or we hear about them later, it's too late or something. I want it more communication, like what did happen with the building department in the last 2 weeks? What did happen with zoning the last 2 weeks? This person can report out. So there's what Jillian did, but I also think there's like, we have an opportunity to bring somebody in and have them
Like the grant, right?
do something a little bit different.
Maybe we all should be included in the ZBA email. Of what the agendas are. We didn't get one this week for this meeting. Nobody did, I asked Bruce. But those emails help keep us abreast of what's going
Who
on.
usually sends those emails?
Jillian.
So nobody sent it because Jillian's.
I know why it was, my
Yeah,
question
no,
was why it wasn't
I think you're all maybe learning about all of the things that Jillian did secretly under the radar.
No, I wasn't claiming that, like, maybe
Yeah.
we should get emails from the ZBA as well.
This is a great description of what
Into
needs
a
to be
corner,
done.
maybe.
You know, the first person that came in that said that they could do all these things and they were doing it for $25 an hour, tie them up from here, lock them up downstairs. Hold them, get away.
In the police department?
Yeah.
There's no ladies from down there.
So does anybody have anything else they want to change on this before we go ahead and post it?
I guess how long? Like, I mean, I know the budget is the budget, and
No, it's not. So the planning board budget is the planning board budget, but the bottom line town budget is the bottom line town budget.
That's what
Are
Julian was paid on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Expert in this, but.
It's advertisement.
What's that?
It's really advertisement. I don't think we've even really advertised this yet.
It's on, yeah, it's on the website. And I
How many
honestly
people
think,
Bruce,
It's on the website, I think that it's on the financial aid website.
what's that?
There's New Hampshire Municipal Association.
With these
Oh, okay.
additions, though, this position is maybe some more interesting to somebody.
right, that's what I'm thinking, is that by saying, we'd like somebody with a degree in a planning field, we'd like somebody who wants to write grants.
But is somebody with a degree in a planning field gonna wanna make $25?
Anyone with that degree
No.
But I think you have an idea, Kristen, that maybe be somebody out of school, this would be a first step.
Yeah, well,
Um,
they're gonna,
and
they're
is
gonna
the
want cash
average
too.
Joe, like, looking at our website for jobs?
No, that's why,
No, that's my
we're
point.
gonna send it to planning, contacts.
Is there any benefit in
Put it on LinkedIn.
This is step one, this is the best first step we've had, is actually
Yeah,
delineating
just-
exactly.
The only thing you might suggest is saying this is a full-time or part-time position.
Well, it's probably
That's
don't
full-time.
really
completely
wanna-
up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been enough in the last year where we said we wish we had more capacity. Like, I think if we could have somebody, for example, Kate's brought information about native plantings and what we could do for zoning, but none of us have the time to like follow up on that and do some research and find some examples and bring them back. I'd like somebody who's doing more of that. Salary wise, I don't know. I think it was set the last time around that Karen had done some kind of survey of what towns were paying.
And that isn't the whole
line,
package,
but-
because half of the remuneration is all the great insurance that the town offers and state retirement. So there's a lot more than the
It's a
25.
lot more than
It's about
$25
double,
an hour.
it's about double
It's about double that.
when you
health
look at
insurance.
the benefits.
If you need the insurance. If you're getting it from your spouse, then that's fine.
This is
Or-
probably
or-
some entry-level person who's more than likely going to need.
Well, but if they're under 26, they could still
They're
be
actually under
covered.
their parents.
Yeah, they could still be covered under their family's plan.
I would just say that the planning board budget is a suggestion and not set in stone. So that if you're finding that in order to hire a person, especially with these preferred qualifications, that you need more of a salary range, then you should come to the select
Yeah,
board.
because I think that's built in, all the time that Jillian has not been working for the planning office, and has been working elsewhere in the town office, that money has been used for whatever duration of time.
Sure.
it's been.
So how about this? How about we take it off for now?
Hmm,
We try to.
No, because then people are gonna not apply to waste their time and they don't know how much
But
they're gonna.
but the qualifications they're applying for may not be what we're really looking for. We're really looking for this, what's on the screen.
What's salary for a
My biggest concern
entry?
is trying to get a hybrid planner to be your administrative assistant. Because the only places I've seen that happen, the person leaves really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Really quickly.
What?
In Kensington,
Quicker than 2
three
years?
of them in a year, when they worked at getting young people. Those young people got other positions. They came and they worked in our planning office for, one was 4 months, one was a year, and one was 2 months.
I mean, I'm not expecting if we're successful to have somebody.
I don't think this is a
But-
probable
Well,
situation.
I think you need to be clear that this is an administrative position. Because if you don't, you're going to be attracting people who are looking for something else. You're not looking for an administrative position.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not looking to be support to municipal boards. They're looking to be
A plan.
a planner.
right.
Yeah.
So it's still, so it's a land use assistant to support our planning, zoning, and building departments, day-to-day management of the office, process applications, do legal notices, attend hearings, file records, track inquiries, process invoices, meeting minutes,
That's all firmly
answer the phone.
administrative. When you say grant writing,
Mm.
that is a different skill set.
We said conduct research on grant
What
opportunities.
What if,
Grant writing
Preferred.
what if we offered more money if they have any of the preferred qualifications?
Yeah.
But is that really necessary?
If you want somebody
You
who,
want it,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Either we need to cross that off or change that, is my personal opinion, because nobody's gonna.
It just seems like it's such a big ask, you know, I mean, everything here is needed, unquestionably. But are there people out there that, unless they were experienced and had 15, 20 years under their belt, could do all of these things?
Well, have we considered the idea of maybe breaking this up into two, like, part-time positions? Then we have to hire twice, you know.
Let's double down. Yeah.
More than
Well,
double.
okay, for
Given our size.
starters, we could take out grant writing experience. So
Yeah.
the other ones, demonstrated interest in, that could mean a lot of things. Familiarity with, that could mean a lot of things. The only experience under preferred that we had was with Patriot Properties. I don't know. We could go back to the way it was and not have. I just didn't know by just saying high school diploma, and it was very admin. It was, just like answering the phones and stuff like that. That we might miss out on somebody who had more.
But you're gonna have to pay to get that. Price goes up.
You, nothing to lose by putting this out here, and if you do not get someone who meets those.
We're not getting anybody now, so there's that.
right,
Right.
that is the issue. And
A big question is who is going to mentor this person? So a person comes in, maybe they're a recent college grad, correct? Right person involved, but there's so many different hats. We got about 20 different hats here. Planning,
When
zoning,
Jillian started.
building
she
department.
said she ever done this before. I picked it up really
Yeah, and she's moved on.
smart, yeah.
Well,
but
you-
she was here for 3 years.
Yes.
Really, 3 years?
She didn't
Did a
move
case
far.
study that
Going
Moved
for
across
She
the
got
hall.
hurt. I
She
mean,
moved across the hall. It's not like she ran out of town.
She got stolen.
with all your contacts in the other towns, through RPC, do you have anybody that we can steal?
Okay, so this is,
Well,
I don't,
we'll
we're
use
in
a
a
different.
public meeting,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
do-
haven't been.
because I
Hmm.
did have somebody that I asked, except the money was too low.
Okay, well, I think that's accomplished.
How much is, how low?
We're not-
$3
We're not gonna, so
an hour.
why don't you just say salary starts at $20 an hour and goes up commensurate with experience, preferred qualifications, whatever, whatever. Well, you don't wanna say negotiable.
No, and you
But-
can't, you don't
Oof.
put a higher, don't put a top. Everybody's going to come and say that faster.
Right.
But for the one person that I wanted to steal, the salary.
Well, that's workable. So now, would you dial them up?
All right, so salary range starts at
20. Sure. $20 is so little, like, it's just.
Yeah, I know.
$20 isn't very much. You can go peddle this, that, or whatever and get
I mean,
$20 an hour.
If we're not gonna
If you go to McDonald's. work at
offer that,
McDonald's for
then
$18.
we should
Yeah.
say that it starts at.
I'm fine with that, but it's not my, I mean,
Right, but that's not our call to make. Is it?
I mean, technically it's this board's call, of which I am a member.
Well, we can expend the bottom line of our budget on our own accord, period. Now,
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know
Right.
of any requirements that say, it, you know, we have a range here. I don't know of anything that's like line by line.
Our only obligations in October is spend the bottom line.
But if you can't get the job done, what are you gonna do?
But what I'm saying is that Jillian hasn't worked directly for this board for some number of weeks or
Yeah, we
months.
can't count on that.
And though, if you hire somebody at a range that would on paper put you outside of your budget, and you come to the select board and you say, we want to
can't
hire this
find
person,
anybody."
we can't find anyone, this is what, like, on paper, we're gonna maybe go out of our budget this year, and then in the fall, when you make your new budget, like,
Yeah,
and then the select board can say yes or no.
Well, that's it, but Karen's responsible for making this place work, and she has other duties that she obviously needs some help with here as well, so I don't think that would be a big ask to increase our,
This is our person.
It's not real. But, like, whatever, like, the budget committee like, the number for this committee is just a guideline. It's not a hard and fast number, the bottom line.
Well, we have to go back. I have to sit there in the hot seat.
Who
and-
hires this person,
Hmm.
actually, is the question. Do you really?
I worked with Karen.
So the select board doesn't hire them?
I don't see why they should. I mean, we're an
Because we have-
autonomous
'cause-
board.
Because we, everyone's employer?
Well, yeah, I mean, I
I-
guess an
it's-
employment
it's my
agreement
under-
would be
It's my
with the town.
understanding that it is the selectmen that hire the position.
But
I guess what I'm saying is that if the select board is, like, has all the information, and they are like, no, this is too much, somebody else, or they're like, yep, please hire a person. I mean, if you're really concerned, you can just come to the next select board meeting and talk about how you've been unable to find a candidate, and you'd like to shift the range, but then that means that you have to wait until July, whatever, 2nd, before you can post this.
why? Why would that have, why would we have to do that? Oh,
I'd still have to ask for, next year, I would still be coming forward and asking for budget.
Yes, to pay for the person that you need to have.
I mean,
which
if the
is
Board of
okay.
Selectmen wants the power to put the final number on the hourly wage, you also have to pick up the responsibility for making this thing work.
So,
Yeah,
Right?
like,
Yeah.
you should, I don't know if you've watched the select board meeting from Tuesday, but yeah.
so 23 is 47,845.
Yeah, that's not
That's a pretty low number.
enough.
But, you know, do consider what you get in addition to that as a municipal employee. You get state retirement, an awesome insurance.
Yeah, but neither of those will buy rent or food, so.
Correct. Well, no,
That's
I'm
correct.
fully supportive. I'm saying that
Okay.
this is what we need, but this is a joke, the number, the price, the hourly wage you're offering is unrealistic.
We also have to be realistic of our town size and what we are and our bottom line of our budget.
So for an
I would
extra,
love to give everybody $50 an hour, but that's just physically not possible.
well, how much actual money is an extra $3 an hour for a full-time employee in a single year? Okay. I feel like
Not much.
we can swing that.
I'm just trying to figure out how to write this. So 24.
I don't know. Do you want to?
Again, just a generic
Go back
question.
and look at the budget.
Just a
Well,
generic
I'm
question.
trying to pull it up
Glenn,
of
just-
the
I just-
internet. The internet's dead.
We do need to be cognizant of what our budget is.
I'm trying to look right now.
And what other people
Don't put any
get
number in there.
paid.
You
I
have,
mean,
you should,
someone
I'm
was
not
just in
gonna
this
apply to a job if I
position.
don't know how much I'm gonna
You
get
have
paid.
to.
I'm not gonna waste my time
It's how
applying to a
people
job that I
determine
don't
if
want.
they're required.
Fair enough.
Just
Right, like, I don't wanna
generically,
get in there and
based
they're
on
like,
your
I'm gonna pay you
experience with other
$50 an hour.
towns and what
Goodbye.
they have to
So,
pay.
so
What-
let's
what-
just say
what-
for,
What is a realistic number? What would be the minimum amount? Use the case of example that you had there. what would
Well,
be?
the example that I'm using is somebody who
But let's not,
has experience and other experience,
All right. So,
which isn't on this list, but she's been a real estate agent for a very long time and brought a wealth of information on land use to the position that most people aren't bringing.
all right, just so if we wanted to interest somebody with those qualifications, not a specific person, what do you feel would be the bottom line per hour?
That person told me $3 more.
So 28, is that what we're saying? Or 20, 23?
No, I think that she was looking at what we were
Okay,
saying was fine.
okay.
Hmm.
just,
But you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but we have to be cognizant of what our budget is,
Well,
what
certainly.
we're able to do now, and what other people in the town get paid.
I think if you say that you're starting at something and do not put an end, then that gives you the flexibility. If you find somebody with a ton of experience or some of these preferred qualifications, then
Fair enough.
you have wiggle room. Because I think if, as soon as the minute you say 25, some people are gonna be like, I'm out.
Yes. Yes.
So can we say it starts at 24?
I'm very,
49
very
hours.
understanding that these have to be equitable among different, employees in town, but we don't really have a pay scale that's commensurate with this particular listed requirement.
Yes, it is too bad that there isn't one pay scale across all departments, the starting salary that then there are
I'm just
steps up.
concerned, I wanna check a couple things. I'm just concerned about.
Stay tuned for budget season.
Out a number for a position that someone just left that could potentially be more than that person
Right,
was
and
making.
right, and maybe in a new position, they might only left.
Right, so I understand.
All right, hold on a second. Let me look and see if I can
That's interesting.
find the.
But there's a lot of jobs. My daughter's a nurse, right? And she was working at Concord Hospital. And she worked there for 7 years. And she said, well, I'm going to get another job. I says, why? She says, because if I leave here for 2 years and come back, I get a hell of a raise. And if I stay here, I get a little supplemental every year. So that's the game. And some people stay because they like it. Others bounce around and they climb the ladder. I used to work for IBM. I worked there for 20 years. They'd hire some other guy who had no experience, another 10 that I was getting to start with. And he didn't have any experience in the machines. So it's not just plain level. Everybody's working here doesn't keep up with the game. That's how it is. Yeah.
At a certain point in the
You got to
year.
pay them if you want to attract them.
That's
Say 23, 22.
Yeah, or a long time.
I would really like it if I could see the rest of this.
All right, let me, so I'm thinking that we say minimum salary is 20.
What do you, 50 cents an hour? You're,
Additional, well, I'm just trying to be
okay.
cognizant of
Yeah, you may have to change that to reality when we get a little further down the road.
understood. And then I might. That does, that does matter.
Yeah.
Right now, it just says it requires working at night. Okay.
Is it worth specifying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
jobs are.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good.
Yeah.
Because
Some modern-
people make decisions on that. And if we're not clear, someone, sometimes question.
What is the earliest that you expect to be able to hire a person in a, like, August 1st? Like, what is the, like, how quickly do you think we can realistically hire someone?
Practically.
August 1st would be.
Okay, I just want to calculate out,
So before we leave the
So,
subject.
and I
you're gonna-
understand, like, so maybe we have 2 months, and it's not just salary, but
Mhm.
benefits and everything. That helps this year, but we're still, we can't hire somebody and then fail to get a budget increase.
Oh, no,
Then,
no.
then what are you gonna do? So,
But I think,
well, that's the way it is every year for everything.
I don't think we've ever lost an employee for that reason.
But you gotta hire them before you lose them.
if we-
Right.
if we
Well,
hire
Glenn's gonna
somebody
take
for
care of
more-
that. Glenn's gonna make a phone call.
That literally happens at, like, there is no guarantee that anyone's position is gonna be in the budget next year.
Well, I get that, like, overall, yeah, but I'm saying this. All right, so are you all okay if I tweak this a little bit, put that minimum of 23, but that it's on-site in Brentwood, and repost it to the website, and have Deb share it, UNH people, and I can send it, Jen Rowden has some job board. Is that okay with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't expect that to be such a long conversation. I'm glad, but I'm really glad we have it, because we never talk about it, and it's live. It's a little easier to have.
Do the selectmen realize the situation? I mean, I know they're trying to keep this line, but sometimes you gotta bend over.
Why do you think the select board is trying to keep a line?
You know, taxes,
I would say. it's the
and to
residents
keep their
who
current
are-
employees.
Oh, absolutely. As a member of the select board, we don't talk about how little can we pay people. Like, this number, I never saw this number, so I don't know where it came from.
Well, it's based on
Right,
Which
but
was
where did that
based-
number come from?
whatever sort of survey Karen had done.
Sure.
To see what other towns.
It's kind of made up.
Because, when the other person.
It's not really made up.
When the other person left, we had to look at
All right, so that is wrong.
Okay. Right. Also in your packet, let's see what else we have here. Brentwood Fire Department regarding the dry hydrant and easement at 29 Whitefield Lane. Chief says the hydrant is located near the rear of the property and is not an ideal location. Would have to be plowed to use all winter long. It's not a gravel road, and in the spring access goes. Lift for drawing the water is up more than 15 feet, and only the most experienced pump operator would be able to get water. Okay, so he's given us a number of reasons why this hydrant needs to be eliminated. Water sources located in the area and
I think that's a great idea. I mean, the easement is the easement. It was approved back 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Apparently, they've never used it once.
Right, it's an easement. It's not property owned by the town, but it's an easement, on somebody else's property. So it's just common sense.
It's a wash.
We're done with that.
so what do we have to?
I don't think we have to do anything. I mean, I think the town would still retain the easement in perpetuity.
Right.
So I think we just say to the fire chief, we think that's a great idea. You know,
He would
commence-
actually like to remove the dry hydrant.
the people would probably.
I'm sure that if, would you rather have something on your property that could be used in the middle of the night? Or would you rather you didn't? I would want it. I
But
would want it.
but we're retaining
Just leave it there.
the right.
Well, retain, unless we give up, unless we were,
Huh? He wants it
the
because
physical,
leave it there.
the physical structure.
Yeah, you never remove something like that in an
But
emergency situation.
unless you blow it out, my understanding is, my guess, it's just a guess, that this hydrant hasn't been tested, blown out for probably 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
So it's not
If they can't,
functional.
if it's questionable, They won't go there. They're already in an emergency situation. They're not gonna dick around for 4 hours trying to draw water out of something.
That pipe is
tie up a piece of-
probably completely
So,
plugged with
so
sediment.
again, like, what, I don't see why you would give up an easement
No,
and not
you don't
just
have to.
keep it
You don't,
just in case in the
right, I-
future. 'Cause he says, I'm proposing that we eliminate that hydrant and easement.
okay, well,
Just leave the easement.
the hydrant easement stays.
The easement would have to stay unless we reopen the public process on the subdivision.
Well, that's it,
so-
and the legal fees and all of that, it's just, that's just a,
If we were going to eliminate.
Are we supposed to advise on
It's a
this?
standard.
That's my question.
well, it was a requirement of the,
Does he
need-
of the subdivision approval.
Yeah.
Ah,
You have
okay.
your water source. Yeah, that was why it was put there right from square one.
So
It should
it
have
would
been
be
maintained the whole
more
time.
us dealing with the requirements for the development. Easement.
Yes,
Go
that's
back
why
and
he's
say
notified.
You no longer need,
If
to
we
have
were
this.
to eliminate the easement, we would have to.
Let's just not eliminate the
If
easement.
we're not eliminating the easement, and allowing fire department to say they are not, that is not going to be part of their inventory of dry hydrants, which is what Joe wants for home. He doesn't want to have that. Yeah, he just doesn't, and he's never used it.
okay, so,
One that he's proposing seems a long ways away though.
Well, let's let them be, they're the fire department, if that's what they say they're capable of doing, I think we ought to agree to their
so,
judgment, support their judgment.
yeah, I mean, it's his professional judgment, I'm still not sure what we have to do. Do we have to go back and do anything with the Lyford land?
I think
Wait,
that I should respond to him and say, if the desire is to really eliminate the easement, if that's what he's told the property owner would happen, then we have to open the public process.
Right.
There'll be expense and time involved.
What is the advantage of doing that?
Of eliminating the easement,
None.
They
there's-
probably just thought that that was just doing it all in one go.
Plot plan, take it off the notes and then resubmit it to Rockingham.
Does the property owner want to use the land for, like, is it buildable? Put up a,
well, no, 'cause
gardening
it's a,
shed?
no, 'cause it's a wetland.
oh,
Regardless of whether it's constructed wetland or not, it's a
it's
wetland
now a wetland.
Yeah.
Why don't we ask Glenn to correspond with the fire department and report that
I-
next meeting?
I hear that
Yeah.
Glenn
Yeah,
wants to
they
do
can't
that.
go there. It would just, I think the benefit to the landowner is the easement is removed, then he doesn't have encumbrance on his property. Present.
But it,
But the encumbrance doesn't cause any difficulties in using
No,
the property.
It's not, but it's still an encumbrance. Way not having it, don't you wanna not have it?
Lyford's the one near the end of North Road, right? Or
Yes.
the close to the edge.
Just straddle.
So the North and Three Ponds one is not that far away, I guess.
It is so long. Try running,
Yeah,
try running a hose.
You
from
don't, oh, you're not running,
Prescott Road.
you're not running.
Well, the bottom line is you have something that doesn't work,
Bring in
it's
a truck.
unserviceable at this point, so let's move
Right,
on.
that he's never
So-
used.
will you ask him, what,
Yes,
and if he's talking to the property owner?
I will express difficulty with eliminating these. That becomes a process. So if
Costs
that's,
somebody
that's
money.
really what they wanna do, there's a process.
It should be paid for by the homeowner if the cost of that, if they.
And is that necessary, or can he just take it off his books and he need
That hydrant,
permission from us?
that hydrant was part of the approval process for
Correct.
that development.
Right, but what he's saying here is that I have other means of servicing the community and keeping the community safe without.
Right, but does that mean that the community would have passed the approval process with
That's
those
right.
other hydrants, or do
Well,
they
right, and we
need-
always rely on the advice of fire department and our fire
So
consultant.
would we have to go back and put a note on the plan saying we understand that the fire hydrant is not needed, and in case 10 years from now somebody.
Well, you would just
Why
need to
don't you go
look
ahead?
at whatever the requirement is, right? Like, if the requirement is that there's a fire hydrant within however many feet,
I think that's what he's telling you.
Correct.
well, but he needs to say that more officially? Because I'm assuming there is actually
Let's let
some
Glenn have
sort
a
of.
discussion with him and
Yeah.
report back next meeting.
All right.
It should have been maintained the whole time.
Well,
Let's
Mm-mm.
Okay, moving on to
move on, .org.
minutes.
Yeah, once I get to the meat of everything, let's move on.
Well, we need more information.
True.
So we have the minutes from 6/6. This was our last meeting. We talked about the display in front of the property, and then we talked about the goals for the housing chapter and the potential for applying for another grant. Jen sent me, I asked her for the original goals so I could pop them in here, but she sent me what she's revised. So I can still attach that.
I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes as amended.
Questions? All in favor?
aye.
Could I just go back to just the previous discussion about the applicant tonight, or just a general discussion about electronic availability of plans? Do we also request the applicant to bring in a D-size copy of paper, come in and look at it? Just for those of us that are somewhat challenged to look at PDFs and Teams, PDFs.
Yeah, I saw Jillian, I came in today to get the papers, and she said they were supposed to bring them.
I mean, that's,
I don't know
that's
why.
our requirement in our application process. And I don't think we need 7 copies, but if we could have one or
At least
two.
two.
Yeah.
Well, we have requirements.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't.
I didn't make it on the sidewalk, but I do have a few questions. I went up there afterwards.
Okay, so next up is our site walk minutes. We walked I guess it's phase 1 of the road. Wayne was there, so he had an opportunity to ask questions about what he needed to do. There was a resident there who questioned whether or not we had responsibility for sidewalks. I think individually, a number of us have been looking at that and seeing that it seems to be common around the state for towns to say, we'll prioritize, but not necessarily actually clearing the sidewalks. Schools seem to be a priority, like roofs and schools.
I'm hoping if the
So-
board were to write a letter to the Board of Selectmen recommending acceptance of the road, but with a qualifier on there that says that the planning board never had the intent that the town would be responsible for maintenance of sidewalks. I would suggest the board proceed, EOS proceed in that manner, not to, get involved in plowing. It's not just the plowing, so you start with $100,000 piece of equipment to plow the sidewalks, man-hours to do it. Once you plow, unless you keep the salt on every day when water melts and refreezes, it's a big liability. So I think if we just said we recommend acceptance with the understanding that the town will not do winter maintenance on the sidewalks.
How did Wayne feel about the curbing?
Well, the curbing is part of the plan. I mean,
I understand, but when you put the wing down, you gotta make sure the wing doesn't extend out to the curb, or you're gonna be ripping it up and laying on the
right.
lawn.
He did walk that with us, and he said this would be no problem to plow. The curbing is about 6 inches.
He seemed pretty pleased, like relieved, pleased.
Yeah, he
didn't-
said this is very
everything
easy.
He kept saying.
The
"Yeah,
hammerheads, he said, would work
that
well.
works.
Well,
That's
if he thinks he
fine."
can do it. What about the short streets like 82 to 80, 74, 76, 78, 80, 64, 66, 68, 72?
There's-
All the short streets, are we liable for those as well?
Some of those are driveways.
Some of them are driveways. There's
Well, they're numbered, so that doesn't make them a driveway.
From what I see in the plan, Sunset Drive ends
Correct.
at the
Yes.
Hammerhead,
Yes,
and those are driveways to
absolutely.
the 4 units that come off of.
There are 2 hammerheads, so it's a hammerhead that is prior, before the bridge.
truck also shows as not being part of the town's right of way.
Okay, great.
Um,
Great.
So I couldn't find the condo documents. So I wasn't able to look at those, which would have made me feel about 90%. But the plan itself is really clear. The roadway, right of way, and improvements associated with the road are only on the stamp. They don't allow us tucking, they don't go
Okay,
further off of
okay.
Sunset than what circle.
No, I mean, I trust PEC's evaluation.
But you only looked at the old section, right?
Correct.
Okay, because some of these short streets that are actually have like 4 or 5 street letters, numbers rather, are short. They're only like 150 feet long.
You copy that? You just-
And they butt out and there's houses on either
Okay,
side.
the Tuckley one is
Yeah.
for 5 houses,
Yeah.
Right,
But it's a driveway.
but it's a driveway.
Isn't green?
No, one of the people
Yeah,
involved in
but I'm talking about the other
the
section.
homeowners association
We're not,
expressed to me that that's the reason I asked. He said this is a town road, but if it's not, then it's great.
so here's what I'm thinking, is if you could draft a letter to the select board saying, and we'll vote on this, but saying that we, you know, have TDC's report, everything, we recommend accepting the road as planned, specifying what's included, specifying what's not included, so there's absolutely no question. I would like to even say it's our understanding, because the HOA president was out there, that they maintain the area around the mailboxes. 'Cause that was a concern, is that, you know, from a standpoint of access, like people need access to their mailboxes. The HOA is responsible for that. And then I think we want to recommend that the town develop a sidewalk policy, sidewalk maintenance policy. And I can send you an example of one where they talk about, you know, basically like this is not maintained in the winter. People use it's low speed, there's no school routes, whatever. Doesn't go anywhere.
It just protects the town forward, so any new applications that come in would be with the understanding that the town does not. It would say clearly the town does not maintain sidewalks.
You are not gonna like what I'm gonna say.
What's that? But,
Hmm.
but I would hope that the board would advising the selectmen that we feel they should accept the roadway, to make a clear statement there that it's the intent through the planning process that the sidewalks would not be maintained by the town of Brentwood. And maybe we should say winter maintenance of the sidewalks, because the sidewalks are clearly in the town right of way.
So I am gonna vote no on this, just because I am very, very concerned about the sidewalk issue, of not having maintenance during the winter. It's, I do see it as an ADA issue, I see it as a safety issue, and I can't vote for that.
So what exactly are you saying? You think this town of Brentwood should bear the responsibility of removing snow from the sidewalks over there?
Yes,
You do.
I do,
How do you pay for that?
The way that you pay for accepting a new road.
yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to increase that amount, and you're gonna have to get compensation
answer is
every
that-
year.
The answer is that there is no way that the town of Brentwood gets compensated when we accept a new road.
The
No,
road,
There's
not
no
the
impact
sidewalk.
fee.
right from square one.
I
develop-
understand, which is why
Right from square one.
I'm gonna vote no.
So.
We were very specific about not maintaining those sidewalks,
Okay.
right from square one.
This started 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
And the reason I'm comfortable with that is
And
because it's
just
not
remember-
just, okay, here's a new neighborhood, we're gonna treat them differently, we're not gonna plow their sidewalks. We all live in places with no sidewalks and walk on roads, a lot of which are
Mhm.
busier.
Is this the first one with sidewalks in town, maybe? You know?
Well, River Run has, well, I don't know what the condo specs say on River Run, on Mill Road, about maintenance. I think that was written right in the condo fees, for the homeowners.
So that's the other thing is, maybe we should postpone the vote until such a way does it maintain the sidewalk?
Are there stretches of sidewalks that are not I imagine there's 100 feet or so where sidewalk isn't there.
Like, is there any that's on common land or something that's not directly tied to a house parcel?
Oh, does the sidewalk go all the way out to North?
I
No.
don't know.
No, it does not.
So all the sidewalks are in front
Internal.
of someone's property.
Parallel to the road.
The concern of the homeowners present was that you get melting. It's not just the plowing that melts water and then that refreezes.
Right.
And this road is much wider than our town roads. Our average town speed is slower, the traffic count is slower. There's no reason why people can't safely walk within the
Right.
roadway.
It's a homeowners association issue. It's all
Yeah.
common land. You can't say, it's no frontage in front of people's houses
Yeah,
to
but-
say you're responsible from A to B.
But the problem is that the sidewalk is on town right of way, or will be when the town accepts it.
The other thing, and I don't know if this is your know as far as what we want to do about sidewalks, but I went to see one of those houses with friends who, he is currently using a cane and a walker and will use a wheelchair. They could not live there. Those places were not built themselves to be wheelchair accessible. Everything's super narrow. And I was really surprised because I thought the whole idea was
Because
aging
it's
in
age
place,
restricted.
age restricted.
Hmm.
And
Right,
the deck out back was like 20 feet in there. So, I don't know.
But they're also single-family homes, and none of us, most of our homes aren't certainly ADA compliant.
Oh, mine is not. Mine isn't even up to current building code.
No, I don't think that would, it wasn't ever the intent that these homes would become nursing homes. It would be just like any of our homes, once we get to the point where we need more assistance, we would move on to assisted living or something like that.
No,
So,
Hmm?
did you have any other, I know, I think Bruce had mentioned this to you. Did you have any other research or anything you can share with us?
although I just wanted to say, in response to Letty, roads, once accepted by the town, are improvements that the town is responsible for,
Yes.
and taxes are assessed to include roadways.
Mm-hmm.
Not sidewalks, but roadways.
So why do we collect impact fees for
Roadways.
other things?
How many times do I have to say this? I think
Yes.
you're doing something illegal. I think you're double taxing.
I know you don't like impact fees, but we're
But-
doing it sometimes. If we're gonna do it, might as well do it fully.
Well,
That's a statement.
there you go.
Like if,
That's a
right,
statement.
if
That's
we
a
are going to
perspective.
collect impact fees, we might as well collect them on all of the impacts and not just some of them.
Letty, tonight you should have
Who
your planning
decides
board
what
hat
an
on
impact is?
and stop
Where
trying to
does that
tax
end?
all our young people out of town.
Oh,
So
I don't think
I'm
you
looking at
that
the
conversation.
FHWA guide for maintaining collection facilities.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
And
I
that's-
don't know if we want to get
But this is just like a really quick soundbite. In the vast majority of states, local and municipal governments can and do require that adjacent property owners perform physically intensive sidewalks, including small ice removal, vegetation removal, and permanent sweeping.
So
So-
a right
So
of
New
way.
Hampshire does.
Oh, we should-
However,
It is
when you
different.
look at the towns around here, at their policies around sidewalks, they do say, you know, this is what we do and when we'll do it. And, you know, like some of them will say, we don't start anything until all the roads are done. Some of them say, there's this zone and we maintain the sidewalks in this zone. It's the densest area. Some of them say, we maintain this zone because kids are walking to school. And then, you know, we don't maintain the other ones. So I think we're, opinion, okay, saying, but I feel like we need to define that. The select board needs to define, this is what we do, this is what we don't do. And you need to do it now when this question's coming up.
ultimately the town people are gonna vote yea or nay, correct?
No.
No?
Well, they're gonna be asked to spend again $100,000 for a piece of equipment to do it, and that's just plowing, not sanding. And then they're gonna have to hire the people to go out and do it, so,
Mhm.
you know, you're talking $250,000. So I'd just like to make a motion that we forward a letter, to write a letter to the Board of Selectmen recommending that we accept the roadways included in Phase 1 as delineated on this plan. And we would put the stated in or have another sentence or paragraph stating the intent of the planning board from early phases of this process to approve this plan had the clear intent that sidewalk maintenance, winter sidewalk maintenance, not be borne by the town.
So what is summer maintenance for the sidewalk?
Well, it is within the town right away, so 20, 35, 45 years ago, it's good for a quarter century, you don't have to do anything to it, but in time, you may have to fill in some potholes or whatnot, you know, some pavement maintenance on the sidewalk. And if that is on town property, you know, you can't expect the homeowners to pay for that. But we would just say that we have absolved the town or do not have a
You
requirement.
know, it
of
would
the-
solve that problem, not making it town property.
Well, but now we've recorded a plan, so we can't go back now and reopen that hearing without all kinds of public notice and pushback from everybody involved.
No,
No, the selectmen can do whatever they want, so Glenn will shorten this up, but just to convey the intent, the planning board never intended that the town of Brentwood would provide for winter maintenance. So
That's very well documented.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify some terms being used. Is the road, a right-of-way, the town of Brentwood really doesn't own it, right? A property owner owns it, and then we have access to it, right?
once we accept it.
The
once we
town,
accept
the town owns the right of.
Owns the, it's actual town property.
Actual
Okay.
town.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're, and an easement is when you have access across it, but
Correct.
somebody else owns it. Correct.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Could I request a roll call vote?
Do I have to have a vote? 'Cause what
You
I,
asked for more information and.
what I had
on the-
suggested was that we ask Glenn to find the HOA documents and see all of the information together. Maybe can we ask Glenn to do that and draft it, and then we'll vote on whether or not to send it?
Okay,
That's a wise idea.
I'll withdraw my motion.
I withdraw my second.
Wise idea. Because I'm sure there is a bunch of supporting documentation. Okay. Thank you.
Do you feel like we need a legal process?
Mhm.
And just for,
Board of Selectmen feel like they do, since they are responsible for accepting roads. All the power in the world to pass town.
Mm-hmm. It would be helpful if you knew if we had any other sidewalks in town, or if this is the first one where we're kind of testing the waters. To your point of making a rule going forward. I'm not seeing anything in these condo documents, but condo documents are a lot of pages of nonsense, so.
okay. Do we have a motion on minutes themselves?
That was gonna be my motion.
Okay.
Yep.
To accept the minutes.
Yeah. So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Abstain.
What is this, who is the party identified in?
This
And-
is very big.
So this is the Tanya Lane.
That reminds me of something.
I spoke with Chris Raymond, and Tanya Lane hasn't been completed. And
No, I think there's
There-
still a lot for sale.
And there are things that have to be done, and so I would prefer that the planning board tell me to contact Haverhill Bank and say, no, you can't close out that letter of credit, because
Right, where,
the roadway isn't
complete.
complete
Well,
yet.
hold on, where'd that go?
Yes, please do.
And
And,
I have to do that soon.
yeah, would it also be appropriate to contact the developer and ask
Oh, I
From-
definitely.
So that
was.
was gonna be,
I-
so that was gonna be my question. This document does not make it clear to me that this was a choice.
I think that they're assuming that it isn't, but
Okay.
it is.
Is it possible they
Well-
had more than one for different?
No,
I
I
do
mean,
not believe
I
so.
mean, the bank may be making this choice.
It sounds like they think they are.
Is the bank not allowed to decide who they want to extend a letter of credit to?
Not generally. If they use our draft letter of credit, it's self-repeating if necessary. So I just, if
Okay.
I have to have that conversation with them, I want to be able to say the planning board has said I can have that conversation.
Perhaps someone's missed some interest payment.
I make a
Let's
motion.
not speculate.
Make a motion to have that conversation.
Yeah, we don't need to.
A second to that conversation.
Yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think we need to vote on it.
But in this example, I would hate the bank to say to me, well, show me that. Who knows? So it's nice.
If we don't do it, then they will ask.
But the letter of agreement that where this came about states the obvious.
It does.
Sir, so, are we at the end of the agenda?
I had a couple, minor things, and then,
So I just had one thing I wanted to raise briefly, but it can wait till the end.
okay. We have, possibility to have a stormwater engineer come to our July meeting to give a presentation as part of this ongoing education.
Mhm.
Don't remember the details.
Yeah, Robert's.
Yeah, hopefully
I
I'm
think
not too late getting
I
back.
think it's someone from the stormwater.
It's almost, it's someone you know everybody.
I probably don't.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay, given we don't have a meeting on the fourth, so we might have more going on in the 18th?
Would it be in person or a Teams?
All right, well, I'll tell him yes. They've put it off for so long. Conservation asked if we want to have somebody go to their meetings and be kind of an informal liaison.
Why?
I do go
Overtime.
most- I do go to most of them. I don't need to be the,
What?
the official members.
They're all
I'll host
recorded
to
if
do
you
it.
want to watch them. You don't.
So I do, I just happen to attend most of them.
They still looking for two members?
What?
I just
I don't
don't
know,
want to
they
take
have a-
anybody else's
they have a
spot.
deep
Uh,
bench.
Would you be offended, Bruce, if I made a motion to make you the
No,
liaison?
no, well, you've been to a number of them yourself.
I have been to a number of them. I couldn't go to the last one because of RPC, because I had to film for Doug with that. So I still plan to go to them. But I think with your institutional knowledge, you'd be a great liaison.
And I don't think, so it's not a voting
Right.
situation.
Oh,
or
okay.
anything like that.
Oh, okay,
It's
never mind.
It's just, you know,
Becky Dunham has been attending
Keeping
most
them-
of our meetings
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
so.
It generally is that the Conservation Commission comes to planning board meetings.
right.
Not the other way around. The other way around is a little bit odd.
Well, and that's why I said, it's
I'm
not
odd too.
to be an alternate or a voting member or anything like that. It's just in the spirit of open communication and seeing what.
It's sort of, I mean, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but there's sort of a hierarchy.
Mm.
And that's why there is a planning board ex officio member on the Board of Selectmen.
Mm.
There is a Board of Selectmen ex officio on the planning board. It's odd for a planning board member to be the line of communication to the conservation. It's usually the other way, because they're providing
yeah.
information to us.
Right.
We're not generally, the planning board isn't generally, for instance, giving input on purchase of conservation.
Right. And that's why I said it's not to be an ex officio member,
I think it's just for peace and
just,
harmony.
hey, Bruce, did you go to the last meeting? What they, just anything.
I thought she
Nothing.
said it'd be great if one of us could just go. It's not a big deal if you wanna go. It'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought you
anybody.
said.
Yeah, and
anybody
just,
can
and
go.
let us know if you hear anything interesting that we would all love to hear about.
Put that one there.
Or if I have to veto anything.
Yeah.
Okay, housing audit feedback. Windows closing.
Yeah, I gave Jen my comments
Okay.
when she left.
Mhm.
Nobody contacted me.
Vacation schedules. Anybody have any long trips planned or other absences?
I'm gonna be gone a whole bunch.
Okay.
I can't tell you all of them, I don't know. We probably got 3 canoe trips, 2 or 3 driving trips, so
Kate's doing something, class for 20 weeks. So she wanted to know if there were certain weeks that we might struggle having a quorum and she should be in so.
well, I'll come if I'm here. But,
Okay,
you know.
anybody else have any long absences?
How many people is it? 4?
I don't think this is gonna conflict with one of our meetings, but it may conflict with another committee meeting. I'm gonna be gone the week of August 19th because I'm a delegate of the Democrat National
That is
Convention.
not a first or third Thursday. You're good. Fourth week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be in Chicago for the convention.
I'll probably be out for the meeting, but I'm sorry,
Hmm. You can postpone it, can't you?
Bring the baby.
No, leave the baby. Bring yourself.
No, what the-
You can fall asleep there.
And Doug will be back. Doug will be back in about a week. So I think.
I think we'll be okay.
And that was an
Just wanted to
important function that Gillian did. She, kind of survey people, make sure you had a quorum if it was a need, or if it was a application or something.
Okay, and we do not have.
The 18th.
Of July,
I just had one very quick thing, and I promise I'll be brief because I know it's getting late and I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And this is probably more of a select board thing, but I just
Ready.
but
Taking notes.
but I just want to raise it for folks. So fairly recently, it was maybe a few months ago now, Senator Jack Barnes passed away. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Senator Barnes or maybe have worked with him in the past. I believe Brentwood was part of his state Senate district for at least some of his time in the Senate. I got to know Senator Barnes a little bit when I was a young kid because I got involved in politics at a young age, and we kind of had, he was just always so great to me. He knew I was a Democrat, but he always encouraged me to stay involved and get involved anyway, which I always thought was very cool. And he's just somebody who really exuded service, not just to the town of Brentwood, but to the country as a member of the military. Just a really, really honorable person. And I just want to raise for the group the idea, if there's any possibility that maybe we could name a street after him or something along those lines. I think it would be a well-deserving honor.
Selectmen choose those.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah, so.
Yes. Which is funny because one of the things I have on my list was the road names list. I emailed, Karen sent me a copy of it. She said that the last time the select board approved roads were names from that list, which is, I think,
Oh, good.
is it River Run?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever the new one over on Mill Road is. I don't know if you had specific roads that you were.
Well, I don't know how many names you may still have on that list.
It's-
Swayze.
Did you find the
Can
list?
you forward that?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Oh, you did?
it's a long list.
That'd be great.
Most of the people are named Smith, so like,
We can ask Dexter to take a look at that and.
Have a smooth road.
He's the one who asked me to check.
yeah,
on
there's a
it, so-
Prescott, there, like a lot of the names have kind of been used, and then there's kind of more names after the fact that are more recent. Which I think, I mean, like Taylor, they just used that was Taylor.
Hi.
No,
So-
isn't there a Taylor, or is that one over on? Okay. Burn is over on River Run though.
Burn.
Burn?
Oh, Burns.
No, burn, like red.
BYRNE.
Yes.
So we can change that to
Yeah.
Barnes pretty easily.
It would be great to
Yeah,
have that
and it won't
list
be
in the last
qualified.
document.
So that's fine. I'm just like, the last time they picked names, which I think was here. I'm trying to remember what meeting I was at.
Yeah, Longview,
That's
Longview
more-
certainly isn't.
So
Where's River Run?
people get to pick
Yeah.
their names. The select board does not pick the names.
Oh, wait a minute. No, the select board is the official naming.
No, the select board accepts a road.
Well,
No,
No.
Subdivision.
I didn't mean to start a whole
regulations,
thing.
the board's pick the name.
Yes, but the last couple times, Joe Falzone, for example, has said, you just pick them. And so there's been a discussion, which is why the new development over on Mill Road, is that River Run?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yeah.
He did, planning board
Well,
did.
I understand. Is that, am I referring to the correct Joe Falzone?
River Run is
project?
off of Mill
Yes.
Road, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
One of them is named Burn. I guess you didn't know this. I think one of them is named Taylor. Like the roads in there, these are the names that came off this list because he said you guys picked the names.
That's nice.
But that's not a requirement that the select board pick a name from this list.
well, that's what our zoning regulations spell out.
Not
Just like-
from the list.
Not from the list.
Not
So if
from the
somebody
list.
comes to the select board and says, I want to name it after my grandmother,
Wait,
You
but
can do that.
Tanya Lane sounds like a Bill Clinton dragging $100.
that's pretty inappropriate for anyone whose name is Tanya.
But, I mean, that's what we tried to eliminate. We had a good process in place for years where the Historical Society would come up with a list of
The-
names.
So the list says this. What I'm
Okay.
telling you is that there's no requirement to use a name from this list.
Correct.
But I think that's the tradition and the preference, and if the select board continue to use that list,
So
that's all we're asking.
If you
If
can convince
somebody
four other
bi-
people to be a Letty Ave. Sure.
So,
Are you-
So, did you know that the first female select board chair was named Letty?
what do you have?
That's awesome.
I didn't mean to start a whole thing.
No,
My-
it was
my-
actually on my list from
Look
last
at
week.
what you've done.
Yeah, no, my only point is if it doesn't have to be a road, if there's some way that we as a town can honor Senator Barnes' lifetime of service, I think that would be very
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yeah, do you want to come to the next select board meeting?
Yeah,
Or
absol-
just, you could just send us an email too and we can discuss it.
I should be able to come.
So,
Okay.
Letty, is your concern that a developer, and have some other name that's not on the list and insist on using that name,
And that they're allowed to do
you're
that?
allowed to do that?
Yes.
Well, they
But
can
that's the Board of
insist,
Selectmen
but
giving
they
them that
can't.
allowance.
Why wouldn't,
Because our
if somebody owns a piece of property and would like to build a road on it, why does the select
Comes to
board?
town.
Not necessarily.
Well, the ones that, well, you're gonna know they're town road, because when they apply for their subdivision application, it's going to say private or town road.
So there is no requirement that the select board name.
No, I just think in what Kristen said, it's in tradition, it's been the tradition of this town.
I know it's in our site plan regulations. I've seen it before.
Glenn is
That-
looking.
that's what I'm-
I know it's in there.
But but the select board ultimately,
The select board ultimately decides, but I think, I'm gonna have to go back and look at all my notes.
Do you not want to decide? I'm not sure what your argument is here.
I'm not arguing
confused.
anything. I'm just
confused.
letting you know that, yes, there is a list. Yes, we are happy to use it, but if
You-
somebody comes to me and says, I'd like to name this road Ethel after my grandmother who lived here for 100 years and she's dead, but her name's not on the list.
That's okay.
Right, because
You
that,
rock it.
that's
You
where
do
those
it.
names came from. They came from old residents of town. That's what the Historical Society worked on that list.
Right.
So could you?
But how do you know that there isn't a resident of town named Tanya?
That makes what?
Tanya.
Would you like to live on a road that was Tanya?
All right, let's,
I don't
let's
think-
not
Well,
get,
okay,
let's
think
not
that's-
get into specifics.
Yeah, can we give,
I
let me
guess
ask
it's
you,
maybe it's between the select board.
I'm actually not sure because I didn't know that it was a requirement. So I'm
We've
waiting.
had this discussion
Yeah.
before,
Well, this is my first.
not
would,
in a horrible.
would you commit to
past.
getting us a list? Of
I
the-
have the list.
Okay.
I can forward it to you right now.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's a lot of old white guys. Spoiler.
You can also go to the Historical Society and ask them to expand on the list.
That's why I thought if we had the list, we can mark off the ones that have been used and ask them to formulate some new ones.
The list gets deviated from all the time.
I understand. That's why I'm trying to understand what the requirements are for an acceptable deviation.
It's usually on what's expedient at the moment. That, you know, someone passes
Right.
But
away,
I think
someone.
the idea was that it be somewhat connected to the town and not just
Yeah.
like Eagle View or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact, that's one of my other questions I
I would-
have for tonight. Before Glenn's head explodes, does the planning board, if somebody wanted to change the name of a road, would that be a select board thing or a planning board thing?
Select board thing.
Planning board has no road authority except construction standards found within the subdivision. On that, roads are BOS.
I have another question while Glenn is puzzled by my first question. The podium.
What?
Podium.
Oh, update on the podium.
No, I'm looking for one. I don't have one.
Well, I talked to Josh on Saturday at the library dedication.
Okay.
He's now in contact with Tim Audi is going to build it. He's just, like everybody, he's just super, super busy. But Josh is meeting with him, I think, within the week
Okay.
to go over final design details.
Okay. Good. 'Cause demonstrated tonight.
Liz said that this was made by SST.
Mm-hmm.
This one was,
Mhm.
yes.
We need a non-public.
I do need a tiny non-public, but I'm wondering if Glenn,
6.11, town subdivision regulations.
can you summarize for me,
Reads-
please?
It reads, streets which join or interline with streets cutting neighborhood properties shall bear the same name. And the second sentence in that paragraph is, names of new streets shall be named by the select.
Okay.
So it was really just tradition, that's all I'm saying. It's just, it was a traditional thing we did, and they, you know, just had some uniformity. We didn't have like, oh, we have Brook Crossing. which I don't
How
know.
long do the people, like, how old do the names have to be to qualify?
Oh, I don't think there's a certain, but the Historical Society is just
I
always,
don't think there is, because
maintained, no,
Kennedy
no.
was named in honor of John, and it was done
I,
within 2 years of his passing, 1 year of
No,
his
it
passing.
was done,
I'm
oh,
gonna
wait a minute.
say something. It's
Well,
on microphone.
And he passed away by then?
So if you want to talk to,
I
if
think he
you'd like to
Was
see a
a
better
few months, a month
expanded
away
I
from
would
passing.
love to
and
see.
I think he
Then-
knew,
He knew that.
he knew,
That makes me feel bad.
he knew.
you could, or without a general call, or, but I think, you know what I'm saying, like, people just don't want us to be named as
What? Okay.
But it's
Okay.
a preference, and it's up to select board.
Yep.
It's what what is expedient? The list really
Because I
only
always
exists.
tell developers that they have to talk with the board of selectmen.
Okay.
The list exists so people don't get forgotten. along
What
the way.
street do you live on? Probably Mary Vay.
well, she was a long time rep representative. Brentwood.
There you go.
But Skim Mill Lane,
That was historical
was
name
it
for
because
that
it was a
portion of
dairy?
town.
There you go.
Yeah, I suppose it was, that was just. the name
I think
was
there's a
the name.
farm, I think there's
A
a farm
farm.
over there.
But, you know, they just sometimes have like Stratham as Frying Pan Lane. We're
Yep.
just trying to get away from crazy stuff like that.
I would assume that Frying Pan Lane is some specific stratum name like skim milk is though, right?
Somebody could have got chased with a frying pan.
You never know.
You never know.
Okay.
I would like to go into
Less.
non-public under 91A32C, legal. Well, we need to make a roll call vote first. I need a second.
All in favor, I'll start aye.
Aye,
Aye.
What are we voting on?
going into non-public.
Oh, aye.
Aye.